through all of the instructions. Okay, there's a video in that link on how to join. So if you click on it, you get a guide on how to join the class. You get a guide on how to join the class. The problem is we are not always very careful in terms of obeying instructions and following instructions, which is not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all. It's not a good thing at all. When you don't obey instructions, you make it difficult for yourself, you make it difficult for others. So all those messages of I have registered and I'm still not able to join the Zoom class will not be there if you had gone through what you were supposed to go through. The purpose of those writings, those write-ups and the links is for your convenience. Actually is actually to make it really like comfortable for you so you can do the right thing. But because we don't always obey instructions, we always jump. We jump protocol in everything, especially in Africa, and it's not good. So please go back to that link. Okay, click on it. There's a video on how to join, giving you like directions on how to join the class if you are interested in joining the Zoom classes. If you want to join the Zoom class, you have your video on. It's also written there. If for any reason, maybe you're at work, you're in the bus, or you are on the road, or you're at home, but you don't want to show us your face, or you're busy doing something else while you're passing time with the class, it's fine. Go ahead and join the class on YouTube. There's no need for you to come to the class on the Zoom and make us talk. Okay, it's not fair on me and it's not fair on you. We need to take these things seriously and we need to adhere strictly to instructions as we are given. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we've been talking about speaking. We've been talking about speaking, and it's something that is very important, something that is very necessary. Many people fail IELTS because they are not able to do their speaking like they should. So what is it about speaking anyways? What is it about speaking? IELTS speaking is the part of the test where you are face to face with an examiner. Unlike the other parts where you have to write, or you have to listen, or you have to read a comprehension, a passage, a text, and you answer your questions. The speaking test is where you get to sit, you know, face to face with the person that is examining you. And so it's a bit like an anxiety situation for some. It's like scary to some people because they don't know what they are going to face. And so in the speaking test, there are certain things that are expected of you and certain things that are expected of your examiner as well. It's a recorded test. And so if you like miss a mark or two, or like you just need 5.5, you may want to apply for a remark, and someone else, you know, goes through the test again, they scrutinize it and see if you are eligible for an up for an addition in your mark. The speaking test is on very familiar topics ranging from topics about your family to your school, hometown, friends, the kind of job that you do, accommodation, your neighborhood, talking about things like your study, yeah, talking about things like, you know, maybe art, about birthdays, childhood, about clothes, computers, dictionaries, your daily routine, food, all right, the internet, your hobbies, leisure places, leisure time, music, your neighbors, newspapers, pets, reading, activities about you generally is what the speaking test is going to be all about. One thing that we need to note is the fact that you may be speaking with a native English speaker, but that does not mean that you have to twist your tongue, all right, for you to be heard or to be understood by the examiner. Notwithstanding, you should not speak your typical Igbotic, Yorubaish, or Hausalish kind of English that will end up cutting your marks as a result of pronunciation differences. Because if there are words that are supposed to be pronounced in a certain way and manner, if you don't do that, you stand the chance of losing your marks. Today in this class, we will be discussing, like we are doing already, what speaking is, and then we get to get a few persons that are going to speak, and then we'll correct and we'll move forward from there. The speaking test is divided into three parts. We have the introduction and interview. This is where your examiner will verify your identity, okay? He or she will introduce themselves to you. You will say yours as well while she's having a look at your identity. Please endeavor to go with your international passport to your speaking test centers, because you will have to have your picture taken, verified and all of that. Then you get to your examiner. The whole of the test itself is between 11 to 15 minutes. It does not last more than 15 minutes and it is not less than 11 minutes. It is a face-to-face interview with your examiner, and it lasts between 4 to 5 minutes. This phase lasts between 4 to 5 minutes. Your examiner asks you your name, you confirm your date of birth, you confirm your identity, they introduce themselves, and they ask you a couple of questions, like you telling them about yourself, you telling them about what you do, like telling them about your hometown, about your home, about arts, about anything. They can ask you just a couple of questions about who you are. If your examiner wants to know who you are, they can ask you, can I meet you? They can ask a question like, who are you? They can ask a question like, what do you do? They will ask you, do you work or school? And your next question from them is determined by the answer that you give. Just like your nursing council exam where you're having your viva and the examiner is there right by your side, and then they take you to a patient bedside and you tell them the name of the patient, and they're asking you about the patient's condition. As suddenly you mention that this patient has liver cirrhosis and it's being treated for liver cirrhosis, and the examiner is like, wow, can you explain the pathophysiology of liver cirrhosis? And you start from when the liver cells were infected, probably by one thing or the other, could be alcohol or drug or whatever, that led to a reduction in the function and all that story, and then the portal hypertension that comes in at the end, the abdominal distension, the ascites that sets in, and then heart failure that comes in at the end of the day, the edema that we can see and all that. That's exactly how your speaking test is going to be. Sometimes it's the question that you answer that will determine what the examiner is going to ask you in part one, okay? But your part two is something that you're going to be given a cue card, a question card, where certain points, bullet points are written for you to answer. For some people, I heard that they don't even have a second look at the question that is on there, which is very bad. That period is called the part two, the section two, or the individual long run. Okay, the individual long run. This period lasts between 3 to 4 minutes. Your examiner will tell you what's expected of you, and then she will tell you to take 1 minute, okay, and speak. 1 minute to think, and then 2 to 3, about 1 to 2 minutes for you to speak, okay? All right. So the individual long run is what you are majorly going to be doing for me today, and I'll be scoring you as well. In your part 3, your examiner is going to ask you questions that are related to your individual long run. And this period is going to last for between 4 to 5 minutes as well, or 3 to 4 minutes as the case may be. Your examiner will carry a timer, and they will tell you when your time is up. They'll carry a stopwatch that is telling them when to ask you the next question. Okay, so you need to be very as fast as possible, but not too fast. And you should think, your brain needs to click and boot, and be expressive. Part of the physical qualities you need to have is boldness. Boldness, fluency, coherence. Answer these questions as you are asked. For instance, if you are asked a question about when before where, you should answer when before where. Don't bring in the part that is at the bottom to the top. That way your work is not arranged and you lose mark for cohesion. It means there's no flow, there's no touch between your work. If you are asked A before B or C, you should answer A before B and C. Is that clear? Another thing you need to know is the issue of vocabularies. We have discussed in this class severally that in your writing and reading and listening, you need to know vocabularies. In the same way, you also need to know what the vocabularies are in your speaking test. Okay, so having known what topics you are going to speak on, having known that you talk about family, you talk about work, whatever your question is, however the question comes, is expected of you to have vocabularies, to have other words, to have synonyms, to have words that are nearest in meaning or the same in meaning, that will not change the meaning of the statement, even though you're not using the exact same word that your examiner had used in asking you those questions. So in your brain, you need to think up those synonyms while you're seated right here now as I'm going to be talking with you. Another thing you need to look out for is pronunciations. You need to pronounce your words like the way they should be pronounced. Don't go about twisting your tongue because you want to speak like Americana, Aganawana. If you do that, you will lose marks. Okay? Speak your normal English, pronounce the words like they should be pronounced, and you get your mark and get out of the hall. Okay? So with that today, I have a couple of persons. I think somebody was speaking last week and we could not get to finish. Who was that? She's not here today. Chinwe, did you get to speak last week eventually? Okay, so you are number 1. You're number 1 to speak. Hello, Marian, you're welcome to the class. And Abigail, have you spoken in this class? At least I'm trying. I know some faces. Have you spoken before in this class? Have you attended our class before? Yes. But have you done your speaking test? No. I'm asking and answering for you. Don't worry. I'm your mouthpiece. Abigail, it looks like village people don't want you to speak today. Oh. Tell my Sonia, looks like this is your first time in this class, is it? You can unmute your mic so that when you talk, I'll hear you.
I've not spoken, ma.
Who is talking?
Abigail.
You call the collect water after rain don't fall finish. Thelma, are you in this class? Thelma, are you in this class? Or you came to see our faces? Okay, remove that. Faramade, good evening, Abi. It's afternoon. Faramade, am I calling the right name?
Yes, good afternoon.
I've not seen you in this class before. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so today is our speaking test, and you're here. You're definitely going to be number 2. Where is the other person? Stephen Oyi, you are number 3. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, ma.
I hope that the network will be very friendly today. Okay, so in the meantime, we have 3 persons. Tawa, you have spoken before. Toyi, you have spoken before.
No, not this session. That
Which
was the
session?
first, the session that we are in, right? This session that we are.
Even in this session that we started, some people have not spoken, but because they have spoken before, I'm not picking them. You get to speak when there is time, all right? No worries. Esther, you are raising your hand. You have spoken now. Any question? Do we have any question? Okay, no question. Well, we will go now. Let's see. Okay. All right. Who's the first person? Chinwe, can you unmute yourself now, please?
Yes, ma'am, I've done that.
Need to set my timing. Just give me a few seconds, please. All right. So, does anyone have any question in this class so far? Do you have any area you want us to clear you before we proceed? Because there's really no need to continue in the class if you are not understanding what we are doing. As much as possible, we try to carry you along. We try to carry you along so that you will not just be sitting in the class and wasting your time, yeah? Okay, Chinwe, my name is Joy Agagwu, and I'll be your IELTS tutor stroke examiner for today. Can you tell me your name and your date of birth, please?
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Oliseduchin Frances. I was born on 12th of December 1987.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do you work or school?
I work presently.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about your work?
Okay. I'm a nurse by profession. I work in a state teaching hospital in Lagos State, Nigeria. And I work in neonatal section of the pediatric section. We take care of babies from 0 to 28 days. That's where I work.
You still have time. Is there anything you want to tell me
Okay.
about your work as a nurse?
Okay. Where I work presently, the unit I work, we have so many things that we do on a daily basis, like feeding the neonates via OGT. Those that are yet to commence feeding directly, they are checking their vital signs, giving them medication, counseling their mothers on personal hygiene and so many other things. We also take care of preterm babies too. It's a very busy unit, I would say, because you may have so many. It's a 30 bedded ward. Most times you have two nurses on duty to take care of the neonates, and that's it.
All right. Chinwe, you you are going to speak on a topic, and you have 1 minute to prepare for the topic if you like. Um, you can take notes, all right? You can take notes, write something down, and so that you can speak on. When you are speaking on this topic, please make sure you do justice to all the um, sub parts of this question. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you have the question that says you should describe a piece of art that you like. Describe a piece of art that you like. In describing this piece of art, you should say what the work of art is, when you first saw it, what you know about it, and explain why you like it. Did you get the question?
Come again, please.
Describe a piece of art that you like. Tell me what it is, what the artwork is, when you first saw it, what you know about it, and explain why you like it.
Okay. Can I go ahead, ma'am?
Of course, your time has started since.
Okay. The piece of art that I like is a work of art that I saw at a friend's place. The art is about a mother that is nurturing her baby. I saw it in a friend's place, and and I like the piece of art because it really explains what motherhood is all about. Motherhood is all about sacrifice. It's all about giving. Is Motherhood is all about selflessness. So the piece of art, it shows the mother with a baby. So why I like the piece of art is it it gives me it it, it motivates me more. After looking at the piece of art, it motivates me more on my journey
Isaac,
as a mother, how I can take care of my kids, and it also makes me to understand that motherhood is also fun. That's what I like about the piece of art.
Did you ask?
That's all.
you are finished.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you think people still value artwork?
Yes, some people do. Some people still do. Like there are people that in their homes you will still see artwork. There are people that are into it as a business. People go there for sightseeing to view the artwork. To some people buy from there. People go there to look at it. So, so some people are still into artwork.
Okay, can you tell me the types of art that I can find in your country?
Okay. There are so many artwork that can be found in my country. Like, for example, the one I explained earlier about a woman nurturing a baby. There are other ones that um, talks about environment. There are ones that also talks about mm, there are so many artworks that we can find in my country.
Okay, Chinwe, you have come to the end of your speaking time.
Thank you, ma.
All right, Abigail, you can speak now. All right, unmute yourself, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. You are welcome to the class. My name is Joy Agagwu, and I'm going to be your IELTS examiner for today. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Abigail, can you tell me your full name and your date of birth, please?
Thank you. My date of birth is 11th May 1983.
I asked for your full name and your date of birth, please.
My name is Abigail. My name is Abigail Nena Ogu. My date of birth is 11th May 1983.
Okay, Abigail. Abigail, how has it been for you, or how was it for you growing up as a child?
Wow. Growing up as a child was a very pleasant and a very interesting and pleasant one. I would say interesting in the sense that I was the only girl amongst 5 brothers. It was really a very fun one because I had a lot of things to do growing up in the midst of boys. It was not. It was not really very funny anyway. However, I really enjoyed it because I was the second. I grew up in the midst of boys that are very, very, will I say, stubborn, that I had to do a lot of things. I will have to be the person to do the work of the house, clean the house, cook. You can imagine growing up in the midst of 5 brothers. In fact, I was like doing everything in the house. So but I actually enjoyed it anyway. And it
Okay,
was
so did you have a
really,
lot of friends when you were a child?
yeah, I had a lot of friends, but they were all boys. No, I would say majority of them were boys. I just had few girlfriends. They were mainly boys.
So do you think it's better for children to grow up in the city or in the countryside?
It's actually good that children grew up in the city. However, the countryside is also a place where it's actually a different place on its own, where it's actually good for the children to also experience what happens there, because life in the city alone uh, will not really help groom the child totally. But when there is an experience from the countryside, it tends to groom them better, and they tend to be better children because they would have gotten some experiences from the city and also from the countryside, which makes them, at least they have seen the both side of the places, and which actually makes them better.
That's fine, Abigail. I'm going to give you a cue card, and you'll be speaking on the topic that I'll ask you on. You are going to have 1 minute for you to prepare if you like. So you get a piece of paper, all right? A piece of
Okay, ma.
paper, and you jot your points down, okay? Describe an occasion when you had a really enjoyable meal. You describe an occasion where you had a really enjoyable meal. In describing this occasion, you should say what the occasion was, who was at the meal, what you ate, and explain why the meal was so enjoyable. What the occasion was, who was at the occasion, who was at the meal, what you ate, and explain why the meal was so enjoyable.
Okay. The occasion where I actually enjoyed, well, I say, a very different meal, or like say the meal I've always been used to, always was one of the end of year parties of my uh, town union, because usually at the end of the year there is usually a party of my town's union where every family is present there, and everybody is actually there to um, celebrate and thank God for the end of the year. The meal I enjoyed that day was it was what we, it's actually a traditional meal from my village. It is called the ofe ewa. That is a soup that is made from one of the local vegetables. And that meal was actually enjoyable. It's not a conventional vegetable that you see always in the market. And that meal was prepared by the elderly women. So you can imagine how it tasted. It was so sumptuous. In fact, we are all who made this meal. It was really nice, and the village people that were present, the families of everybody came along with their children, their wives, and it's just like a family of the year. Even though we had some dignitaries present, because there are some people that also invited one or two of their friends, and they came around and celebrated with us. However, we actually had some other people who are not from my tribe, who also came along with maybe one or two of their friends to come and know what's happening there that day. And it was actually fun, because I really saw it as a meal that comes, well, I say once in a year. Wow, in fact, that meal, I slept. I was thinking about it, thinking that the year was going to end the next month, so that we can also gather again and have something like that again. It was actually a good one,
Okay.
and everybody present, we brought everything down with our really a day to remember.
Okay. So what do you think a healthy diet should consist of?
Okay, healthy diets
Mhm.
should, depending on the individual, depending on the age of the individual, because there are so many factors that should be considered when you are talking about a healthy diet for an individual. Yeah, when you're talking about a healthy diet for a child, is different from what you're talking about for an adult. Let me take, for example, an adult or an elderly person should have more of vegetables in his diet. He should have carbohydrates, he should have protein, but the vegetables that should be in his or her diet as an elderly person should be more, because he needs more of the vegetables for proper functioning of the aging cells. Then you talk about a child who is just growing. The child needs a lot of energy giving food because he has a lot of activities. The child is running here and there, and he also needs more of protein too, because the child is growing, needs to build his cells, need to build his immunity. So proteins will do very good at that, and carbohydrates will give the child more of the energy which the child needs. Then vitamins too, fruits, which is a very 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 important part of every meal for every body, irrespective
All right.
of the
Um,
person's
what kind of food? What do you people in your country prefer? Is it traditional food?
age.
Traditional food?
Everybody,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. So people in your
Yeah,
country, what kind of food do they prefer? Is it traditional food or fast food like hamburgers and pizzas and like shawarma and all of that?
no, people from this part of the country are, will I say, they are, will I say, we are usually referred to as the local people. We like traditional things. We are not so good at the burgers and the shawarma and the pizzas. We like our local food, our traditional food. They are actually, will I say, because of the kind of work we do, we need something that can keep you for a longer period of time. Probably somebody who is going to the farm will not have to go and take burger or pizza. He or she will get something like fufu, cassava that is prepared to like one of the local foods that is called fufu. He or she takes it because it
Okay.
helps to keep the person longer before the person gets hungry again. So we enjoy our
Okay.
local meal because those continental dishes don't usually, will I say, uh, keep us. They don't usually hold us for long time. So you tend to get hungry easily when you take those continental
Okay.
dishes.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you very much. You have come to the end of your speaking time. Thank you. Where is Oyi? He has disappeared from the class. Peace. Are you ready for your class, for your speaking test? Yeah?
Peace.
Okay.
Yes, ma.
I can't find you anywhere. Where is Oyi? Oyi, you will speak after Peace, please. Hello, Peace. My name is Joy Agagwu, and I'm the IELTS tutor for overseas nurses. Here today. You are on the hot seat, and you're going to be answering questions as you would if you were to have a speaking test. Is that okay? Can
Yes.
you tell me your name and your date of birth, please?
My name is Trace Peace Eziaha, born
on 25th January 1991.
Okay. When do you usually wake up in the morning?
I usually wake up by 6 a.m. every morning, and this is because I've become used to it. I started this while in my university days because I prefer reading at least 1 hour every morning before I go to school. And even after I graduated, I kept on maintaining this routine.
Okay. So do you have same routine like every day?
I don't usually wake up 6 a.m. every day. I wake up later during the weekends because I stay at home and I don't go out. So I spend more time sleeping on weekends than the working days.
Okay, so is your routine the same today as it was when you were a child?
No, it has really changed so much. When I was a child, I used to wake up much later, unlike now when I have to wake up earlier in order to prepare some things in the house. And that is because as a child, I had my parents and other ones who did some household chores for me. So I could sleep as much as I wanted.
Okay. So Peace, you're going to be given a cue card where you have some time to make notes, all right? I'll ask you a couple of questions and you'll be describing to me. In describing this, please take note of the bullet points so that you can answer them in details. Is that okay?
Yes.
You can take 1 minute if you like for you to make notes, and if you don't want to make notes, you just go ahead and say. So, describe an exciting competition or sporting event that you have witnessed. An exciting competition or sporting event that you have witnessed. In describing this event, you tell me what the competition or the sporting event was, when and where it took place, who won, and explain why it was so exciting to you. Tell me what the competition or sporting event was, when and where it took place, who won, and explain why it was exciting to you.
Okay, let me start. The sporting competition I witnessed was an inter-house sports competition that I partook in my secondary school days. And that was in the year 2004. I was in my JS2 then, and I belonged to the Blue House. The sporting competition involved different kinds of sports like basketball, running, and high jump. And I took part in the running aspect where I took part in the 400 meters race. It was really a very interesting occasion because there were so many prizes that was kept for those who win. Also, some important dignitaries came for the competition, like the councillor of the area came for the competition. And he also brought some beautiful gifts for the students who emerged as winners. During the competition, it wasn't really enjoyable to me at first because those in our group, in my team, we are not doing so well. And eventually, the other opposing team, which were those in the red house, won the competition. But even at that, I really enjoyed it because it gave me an opportunity to develop my skills in running. And it also gave me an opportunity to get some of the beautiful gifts, even though we were not among those that won. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, so what do you do to keep fit?
One thing I do is to partake in exercise, particularly jogging. I do that every morning for at least 30 minutes before I go to work. And I do it just in my compound.
Are you good at sports?
I'm not really good at sports, but I enjoy sports,
But what kind of sport do
especially,
you play?
okay. For now, I don't really have a particular kind of sports I enjoy doing except jogging. And that is because it is very easy and convenient for me.
Okay, so how can we encourage young people to stay healthy?
We encourage them to stay healthy, one, through health education, telling them the different kind of things they can do to stay healthy. And one of them, as we are discussing now, is sports. When they engage in sports, it helps them to burn excess calories and maintain a healthy weight. Another thing is eating balanced diets. That is ensuring that they eat more of fruits, vegetables, and avoid so much fatty food. When they do this, they will stay healthier.
Okay, should your government intervene to force people to be healthier? Do you think it's okay for the government to intervene to force people to be healthier?
I don't think so, because I think that the issue of health is a personal matter. And what the government may deem fit as being the right way to be healthy may not be what the people accept as the right way to be healthy. So I think it is best for individuals to determine how they want their health to be and the specific things they can do to remain healthy.
Do you think that an unhealthy generation can be a burden to the government in any way?
Of course, it will really be a great burden to the government because each year the government budgets certain amount of money which they use to fund the health sector. And if there are so many unhealthy people in the population, that means that a time will come when the government's budget may not be enough to take care of these sick people. So I
Okay,
feel that,
okay. So do you still think now that the government should force people to live a healthy lifestyle?
of course,
Considering the fact that is a burden on their budget, and it's going to like maybe take a toll on the economy of the country.
even though it will affect the economy of the country negatively, it is still, I don't still think it is right for the government to force people to be healthy. Because as I said earlier, what the people may want as the way to achieve their health may not be the exact thing the government has in mind for them. And naturally, when you force people to do things they do not want, it can cause a lot of problems.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris. You have come to the end of your speaking time.
Thank you, ma.
You're welcome. Just before we move on, there's a writing question that everybody should write. This writing question, please, if you write it, send it to the Telegram group. If you are able to do it today before 10 p.m., I will have it checked. It is two ways. Two questions, one question to be answered in two ways, and I will say the way they will be answered. Number one of this writing question, the writing task 2 question. Some people think that the government should force its citizens to have a healthy lifestyle, while others do not think so. Do you agree or disagree? Number 2. Some people say that the government should mandate its citizens to live healthy, while others, some people think that the government should mandate its citizens to live healthy, while others think that the people's health is their responsibility. While others think that the people's health is their sole responsibility. Discuss both views and give your opinion. If you're able to write it and send it to the Telegram group before 10 p.m., before 10 p.m., before or at 10 p.m. today, I will vet every one of them, okay, on the group and give you your feedback on the group. It's a writing task 2 question. There are 2 of them. So if I were you, I will open my Microsoft Word, type both of them, and send them in at the same time. Send it, first question, send the second question, so you don't have to look for where your vetting is. When you type it somewhere, you copy it and paste, then you go and copy and paste. That way your work is close to each other. In writing this task, please get synonyms. In writing this task, please complete it, answer it, give me your opinion. Discuss both views and give me your opinion means that you are going to be talking about the government making it mandatory, okay, on one side, and you'll be talking about the people choosing what they want on the other side, and then you give me your opinion in your conclusion. Remember the structure of the writing task 2. Don't have less or more than 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph is the statement of the problem and your response, where I have the specific statement and the general statement. The specific statement is the task you have been asked to do. The general statement is the question prompt paraphrased using synonyms. First body paragraph, which is your second paragraph, if you are discussing both views, is you are discussing one side of the view. Second body paragraph, which is your third paragraph, if you're handling both views, then you should discuss the other side of the opinion. Your conclusion, you will summarize your points and tell me what your opinion is. Please keep your opinion away from first, second, and third paragraphs. You are agreeing or disagreeing. It means you have to either be on the side of the government making it compulsory, or you're on the side of the citizens taking sole responsibility for their health. Remember, this essay will discuss my opinion. If you don't know how to state the specific statement in a way that it can give you more marks. First body paragraph will discuss your main points, why you agree or disagree. Second body paragraph will discuss one of your main points, why you agree or disagree, and a point against your own point. That's what we call concession. Please, in your conclusion, tell me what you are doing, whether you agree or disagree. That should be noticed by the way you arrange your work at the end of the conclusion. Thank you very much for listening to my preaching. All right, so Oyi, it's your turn to speak.
Okay, ma.
Hello, are you okay? My name is Joy Agagwu, and you will be speaking today in this class. Where is he? There he is. Can you tell me your name and your date of birth, please?
Yes, ma. I can hear you.
Can you tell me your name
I can hear you,
and
ma.
your date of birth, please, if you can hear me?
Okay, my 1996.
Sorry, you are muted. Please, can you come on with your audio again? Sorry, Linda, I cannot send the question because the question came to my head as we were talking. As Peace was talking, that's how the question came. So you do well to ask your colleagues, maybe somebody who got the question, to text it to you or send it on the platform so you can see it. I just got an inspiration for that question, and I also have an inspiration of what the answers should be on both sides. I expect that Peace should score a band 9 in this question. If you don't score band 9, I'll look for a special cane and send it to flog you in the spirit. So that if you were listening to her discussion, you would have gotten some of the answers to your question already. Oyi, I cannot, now you can go ahead and unmute yourself, please. You see that your network is not friendly at all. Morolake. Morolake, are you ready for this speaking
Ma,
test?
unmute myself.
Now talk. Tell me your name and your date of birth, please.
Hello.
Oh God, you are not hearing me. Tell me your name and your date of birth. Can you hear me?
Okay, my name is Oyochola Steven. I was born on 2nd of February 1996.
Okay. You are welcome to the speaking test today. All right, so
Thank you, ma.
Stephen, do you spend much time with your family?
Yes, ma. I spend time with my family.
Okay, so
Hello?
what do you do with your family members?
Yeah, actually, although ever since I was born, I've been with my family, and it was an interesting experience staying with my family. Although in my staying together with my family, we do go to farm together, do some house chores together, and after sometimes during any doing some farm works together and attending some family meetings. And in my family, again, there are a lot of annually, there is, hello?
Just be talking. You are supposed to just continue talking. Nobody is talking to you, so I don't know where you're saying hello from.
So we do things together, going to farm together and do a lot of other things and jigs as well together.
All right, so who are you closest to in your family?
Wow, I'm much closest to my mother herself. She's just like a gist mate.
Oye, can you hear me? Moralake, unmute yourself, please. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Joy Agagwu. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon, Moralake. Can you tell me your full name and your date of birth, please?
Hello. Listening to hear you.
Can you tell me your full name and your date of birth, please?
My name is Ajibade Moralake. My date of birth is 22nd of November 1995.
Okay. What's your favorite food?
And my favorite food, I actually love taking varieties of meal, but to pick one, I would go for yam and garden egg. It is actually
All right. Have you
one
always
of
liked that same food? Have you always liked it? Have you
over
always
time.
liked yam and garden egg?
I didn't really stick to it because when I got pregnant, I didn't really like it. I wasn't tolerating it. So I actually ate anything that was suitable. But now I can still say it is one of my favorites.
Is there any food that you dislike?
I would say pounded yam, another processed. Pounded yam is one meal that I cannot seem to take at all. Aside from that, I do well with other foods, even from other cultures. I still tolerate them.
So what is a common meal in your country?
A common meal in my country is rice and stew. Rice and stew you can call it, is almost a staple food that is eaten and is mostly affordable by most families in my country. So rice is majorly a carbohydrate meal that is taken by everybody, like all the tribes in my country, and there is no part of the country that doesn't take it. Some people do not take it like that. They process it to other meals, like the outside, they make it to tuwo, and others, you can also eat it in other varieties. Some people make it into jollof, coconut rice, fried rice, but it is very common in every part of the country.
Okay, so what do you think of fast food?
Fast food. I am not a fan of fast food, but I take fast food if, number one, if in most cases I'm choiceless. Like if I'm at work and I don't have any meal to eat, I just get a fast food. Of course, that would give me energy and keep me going, especially if I will still be on the job. If I'll still be at work. So if I'll still be at work for a long time and I won't be able to make my own meal, so I go for fast food. fast food. But aside that, I don't really subscribe to taking fast food because of the mode of preparation, which I do not know. Then most of the ingredients that they use, it may be ingredients that I do not take, or maybe they not say to me, or they are not really healthy to me, for my own opinion, and medically they may not be healthy to me. So generally, I do not like fast food, but I take it when I'm under compulsion to take it.
Okay. So you take 1 minute to prepare a talk on this topic that I'll give you. You can take notes if you like, and then you should speak for between 1 to 2 minutes, all right, on this topic. Describe the person in your family who you most admire. The person in your family who you most admire, you should say what their relationship to you is.
Ma?
The person in your
Hello, ma?
family, the person in your family who you most admire. In describing this person, say what their relationship is to you.
Okay.
Say what their relationship is to you.
Okay.
What they have done in their life.
Ma?
What they do now. What they have done in their life. What they do now. And explain why you admire them the most.
Okay. Hello, ma?
I finished. It's your turn to talk.
Ma?
It's your turn to talk. I've finished.
So the person I most admire in my family, the person I most admire in my family is my mother. Confident, someone I'm very close to, someone I want to immediately I'm in distress, or even if I'm happy. So I have a very, very close relationship with her. We talk most times, and even if we have things that we disagree on, I'm just very close to her. So what she has done, my mom has really achieved a lot in her life. Aside from the fact that she was a teacher, yes, she was a teacher. She's also a business woman, and she loves to venture into businesses to see which works. But now she's retired, but she's still into her business and she's thriving well in it. So one of the things that actually inspires me about my mother is the fact that she doesn't relent in whatever she wants to do. If she wants to support someone or an idea, she supports it fully, and whatever comes out from it, she's always encouraging. So she supports me, she gives me ideas, even though she doesn't even know what's happening in my field. Like the nursing I'm in today, she was the one that told me go for nursing. And even when I was about to be with her, she told me just keep up, keep up, keep up, because if you come home, I will not send you to school. So the encouragement was the encouragement that she gave me. She actually gave me a shoulder to lean on. So I really, really admire my mother in my family.
All right. So in what ways has family in your country changed over time?
Family in my country, from my own view, has changed a lot to the setting of family, up to the relationship and communication aspect of family. Let me speak from the setting. In the olden days, now in my country, the most practiced style of family is the extended family, where and I am also a product of one. I grew up in the midst of my own aunts, uncles, some in-laws. There are some. In fact, my aunt, my sister, my aunt. They are the ones that took care of I and my twin, even my other brothers too. So they are the ones. They were majorly one of the participants in the family. They were part of the family. But till now, the most practiced family style in my country is the nuclear family. A man, his wife, and his children, and just once in a while they allow a third party, because that's what they mostly call it, a third party, which can be the mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, whoever comes to take care of the child. The respect that is given in the olden days in my country has now reduced to the extent that children reduces the respect. Then they put in religious ideas. Sometimes modernization, civilization has actually affected communication communication in the family. That now the way communication is between father mother is fear, but now they call it respect. You can speak to your father anyhow, or you can speak to your father in a way that the way you talk to them is you're supposed to be in fear, but no, but now you can. That was before you be in fear, but now it is actually you communicating with respect. They are mostly with respect than fear. So family setting has really changed in my country from what it was to what it is now.
So what responsibilities do you think that children have towards their parents?
Ma?
What responsibilities do you think that children have towards their parents?
Okay, the first responsibility that children have towards their parents is honoring and respecting them. And that includes obeying their wish, and listening to them. That is one of the greatest and first responsibility that a child has towards his parents. Then as we grow up, we need to give them a chance to be included in our life. But we know, as when we are an adulthood, but we just need to know when to tell them to stop, when to tell them to pause, and when to not include them. But one of the responsibilities is also allowing the mother or allowing the parents to have a share in our life too. They should be given a space, no matter how small, in our life. Then as time goes on, when a child has become an adult, a full-grown adult, having his own family, he has the responsibility of taking care of his parents financially, sometimes even giving them a shelter depending on how the condition they are. And most parents do not really care about the shelter, but they care about the connection, the fact that they are with someone that they are close to, they are with someone that can easily talk to them, they can express and share their feelings with. So that is one of the few responsibilities that the child has. And then of course, when they grow old and they have age, you want to listen to them, to ask what is their wish, and then to try as much as possible to fulfill their wish or their orders. In aspect of caring for them, listening to them, and even preparing what actually they will need. Ma?
Thank you very much, Morolake. You have come to the end of your speaking test today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma.
Okay. All right. Do we have any new person in this class? No new person. Abigail. You have spoken already. Have you not?
Yeah, ma.
Good. I just want to be sure that okay, Peace has spoken, Morolake has spoken. Oyi, are you ready now? Please.
Sorry for
Don't just go ahead and speak. Once you have gotten your question, go ahead and talk. You don't need to ask me or to say hello. That I'm not talking does not mean I'm not listening or that the class is not listening. Just go ahead like the other people have done theirs and speak, okay?
Okay, ma.
Let's see what else. Okay, so you're starting all over again.
Okay, ma.
My name is Joy Agagwu. Can you please confirm your name and your date of birth, please?
My name is Oyochola Stephen. I was born on 2nd of February 1996.
Okay, you're welcome to this class. Today is obviously your IELTS drilling class. And so I'm going to be asking you a couple of questions. Is that okay? Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Oyi, do you have a dictionary?
Yes, that was then in school, but now I've given it out. Presently, I don't have a dictionary.
Okay, so but do you often use a dictionary?
Yes, if I'm to say I often use a dictionary while I was in school, because most of the time when they give us assignment, especially nursing dictionary, whenever they give us assignment, then I do refer to a dictionary to see some meanings of some word and some medical terms that I may not really get in the class. So after the class, I do make use of the dictionary while in school. But now, presently after the school, I do use my phone dictionary to check some things. Let me just say, generally, I do use dictionary frequently to check up some meanings of some word.
Okay, so what kind of information can you find in a dictionary?
Wow. There are lots of information I can find in the dictionary, depending on the type of dictionary that I'm using. So for my own case, while in school, I do use medical dictionary, and a lot of medical terms or anatomical terms that I do find in the dictionary. For instance, like uh, uh, all those some medical abbreviation like atomy, tummy, which can be as in gotten from the dictionary as well. So there are lots of medical terms that I do get the meaning from the dictionary. But there are other type of dictionary like English dictionary that you can check up some English word like Sussex or any other things that you can get from the dictionary.
Okay, I'm going to give you a topic that you'll be speaking about. In speaking about this topic, you should take note of the bullet points so you can explain in details what you have been asked. Is that okay? Take 1 minute to prepare a talk. All right, take notes if you like, and remember to include reasons and examples. You should speak between 1 and 2 minutes. Describe a memorable journey you have made. Describe a memorable journey that you have made. In describing this journey, you should say where you were going, how you were traveling, why you were making that journey, and explain what made the journey to be so memorable to you. Your time starts.
Wow. The most memorable journey I've ever embarked on is a journey from Makurdi to Jos, a state of Nigeria. And it was a journey that was embarked on using a motor vehicle, like a bus, a computer bus. So the journey was held on 15th of April 2018. So it was a meeting organized by Fellowship of Christian Nurses at Jos there. So we, the fellowship members in Benue State School of Nursing chapter there, we went to attend the meeting. So we organized ourselves and we booked a bus from Makurdi to there. And we took off around 8 a.m. in the morning. So when we were going, what makes the journey so interesting and so enjoyable was for the fact that most of the members of the fellowship that were going along with me, they were gisting in the box, and it kind of referred to some past events that have happened in their various locality. Like some of them talked about some kind of traditional food from their various tribes that the food they so much like. And when we were going on reaching a certain point that the driver have to stop, and everybody have to come down from the motor. And behold, it was a joint where they do sell this chicken, roasted chicken there. So everybody was a kind of interested to buy the chicken. So we, as a fellowship, on our own we used our money to buy the chicken, of which everybody in the box enjoying it equally. So we arrived at the place around 6 p.m. and it was a huge success for everybody who had the experience by traveling to the Jos that time.
Okay, thank you very much, Stephen. How has tourism changed? I mean, in your country over the last couple of years?
Yeah, if I have to say it, I would like to say that it has changed in the sense that now back then in the previous years, I can say that then there wasn't available of all those devices like computer devices which may help an individual to have access to all this Z word. But that time they do convey people from a particular place that doesn't have a tourism center to where there is a tourism center. Like for instance, a zoo. Like for some of us that study like me in a rural area, where I study, there is no any tourist center. But from the headquarters of the state where I study, they do carry us from the rural area to the town where the tourist center is being located. But nowadays, it has changed in the sense that there are a lot of iPhones that one can easily Google and watch some of the Z word through phone. So traveling for a long period of for a distance in order to experience a tourism has become a kind of influence by some computer systems we have in our society today. So over time, I can say that tourism has been changed. There are a lot of change in the tourism.
Okay. All right, Oyi. So, what do you think are the advantages and disadvantages of traveling by a plane?
Wow. Okay. I can say traveling by the plane have several advantages and disadvantages. But if I have to say, I have to start with the advantages of one traveling by a plane. One of those advantages is it save time in a sense that a journey that is supposed to spend up to 12 to 18 hours, or when using the plane, you may spend less than that time that you may a kind of use ordinary bus to travel. And again, one of the advantage again is is easier in the sense that is save energy in terms of stress, because if you are to travel for a distance of 10 to 15 hours, you will become exhausted. So when you are using a plane, the time is being shortened. So definitely there is a kind of a reserve energy that you have. And another I want to switch to disadvantage now. One of the disadvantages is expensive. Expensive in the sense that not everybody have access to the plane because of the finance aspect of it. So, for instance, those people that are less privileged, they find it difficult to travel through by plane. So it's expensive. Another one again is the accident that may involve using plane may be fatter than when somebody use ordinary motor vehicle or other stuff.
Thank you very much, Stephen. You have come to the end of your speaking test for today. In the next couple of minutes, I'm going to make the corrections in all of this, and then we move from there. Okay. If you are just joining the class, it will do you good if you are able to check the chat. Someone had been very, very kind to us and had written the question on there so that you can also participate in what we are doing. Okay, you can participate in what we are doing. For those of us on YouTube, we have an opportunity to also post our work. You can post what you have written on the Telegram group, please. Post it on the Telegram group. If you are able to do that before 10 p.m. today. I'll go through it and then I'll vet it and post it on the group as soon as I see your answer. There are 2 questions there for writing task 2, and yes, you will get vetted if you are able to do it. Beginning from the first speaker, we had Chinwe. Chinwe, thank you very much for the attempts that you made at speaking today. You were hesitating before you talk. That's not a good sign. You need to go ahead and just speak. You don't need to wait, okay? You were waiting too much. And even when I was telling you to go ahead, you were still like waiting. And then you were talking about motherhood, a piece of artwork that you love so much. Is it just about motherhood? Is there no other word like motherhood? What about saying nursing a child? What about saying being a mother? What about saying being a mom? Those are words that you can use in place of motherhood. You were giving me the advantages of motherhood, and you kept mentioning motherhood, motherhood, motherhood. All through, there was no other word you used for it. Remember, I told you that you should get synonyms, okay, other words to use. That way you can improve on your vocabularies and you increase your marks at the end of the day. You didn't talk as you should about values, business. Okay, you had the right whatever. You had the right um, information when I asked you that do people still value arts, and you were talking about people valuing arts or seeing it like it's important, probably because they go that they have some of these artworks for sightseeing. All right, they buy them, they sell them, they make money from them and all of that. Please be straight to your point and make your point really clear. I'm saying this because I was able to like put it together. Your examiner may not want to put it together, and at the end of the day you don't score the marks that you need. All right, you could not finish your time. You spoke in less than how many minutes because you were giving me short answers. Please let it not be so. That way you're going to get a low band. I wrote that you will get a low band here if you do that. Abigail, you were just repeating the same thing. It's fun, it's fun, it's fun. You should learn to use other words like I just explained to Chinwe. And then you kept using the word actually. If you were in this class before, you will remember that I told us there are certain words that are red colored. Those are words that you should not repeat or use them too much. If you keep repeating them, you are going to have issues. Omotoke, you have joined the class. Please, if you cannot have your video on, join the YouTube class. God bless you. Yes. Abigail, still talking about Abigail. What else did I write? Okay, you said you made a statement like, will I say they need, I've always been used to. Some of these words are very, very wrong when you use them in combination. As much as possible, please avoid grammatical errors. Okay? Avoid grammatical error. At the end of the year, usually at the end of the year, you kept saying that people gather at the end of the year, usually, all the time. There is usually, enjoyed. Please change those words so that you can make your work really rich. Remember, you are time bound. You don't have all the time, so you need to speak and speak very fluently as well. Peace, you were too short. Your answers were too short. You really repeated what was happening. You were just repeating, really enjoyed, really enjoyed, really enjoyed. Please, as much as possible, elaborate, be more expressive, okay? As you are hitting the points, you are hitting the nail on the points, be very, very expressive with your words. That way you can, get a higher mark. Morolake, I said favorite food. You are using actually. I don't know what the problem is with actually, usually, actually. Why is everybody using that word though? Please always go straight to the point. You kept asking me, when I ask you a question, you ask me back that same question. It shouldn't be so, okay? And then when you were talking about food that you don't like, if a kind of, I mean, the food that you dislike, just go ahead and say processed food. You don't like processed food, then you can call their names. You said you don't like food like pando yam, and then you said processed. What other processed food do you not like? So if instead of calling one name and then you restrict yourself, why not go ahead and use a broad word that covers all of them? That way you get more marks as well. Your examiner will know you have a broad knowledge of what you're saying. And then a staple food in your country, food that everybody like in your country, or how did that question come? And the answer was rice. You were trying to explain about rice, and then you went ahead, you already restricted it when you said that rice and stew. How can you say rice and stew and then you're telling me that it can be prepared as tuwo, it can be prepared as jollof? You can't tell me one thing and then you are saying different things. Okay, at the end of the day, just say rice. And this is because it can be made, all right, in a variety of ways, okay? It can be cooked as jollof, it can be cooked. Some prefer to make it concoction, some prefer to eat it as swallow, like from the northern part of the country. Every aspect, every region in my country, the people there love to eat rice because it can be prepared in their own way. Some prefer to eat it with stew, some use tomato stew, some use vegetable stew. Depending on how you decide to prepare your rice, you can eat it the way you love it. And then it is also energy giving, and it makes the children to love it even the more, okay? And then it's a kind of food that you can make for occasions, because everybody likes it or everybody loves it. It's a general thing that you can easily find, all right, when you attend funerals, weddings, naming ceremonies. You can list them, and at the end of the day, you get your mark and you go your way. Okay, let's say repeat, reduce, actually. Okay, who is this person? When I asked you about responsibility, okay, of children to their parents, we're talking about respect. You had already said they are to respect their parents, and you are saying they are to respect their parents, and you are to respect their parents. You are just saying the same thing over and over. Did you get that correction, Morolake? So you just need to use more words to describe what you want to describe. That way, you stand a better chance of scoring a band 9, band 8, getting higher marks, okay? Abigail, where is Abigail's correction? Are you saying I didn't write anything about her? Probably I was carried away. Wow. I had already corrected Abigail. Okay, that's fine. Oyi, you were just repeating my words back to me. And the use of wow, 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 as if you were sounding an ambulance. Wow, stop using that word, please. It's not proper for you to use that. If you are taken aback or you find the question exciting, you can say, that's a good question. I didn't think about it. I never thought about it. Or that's a lovely one. Oh, or that took me unexpected. If you want to make an exclamation, there are better words to use. There are phrases that you can use. And I remember that we discussed them in one of the speaking tests. Or if you go back to our speaking test, I think the one before the last, if you go back to it, you can find that there and it will help you. You need to work on your tongue. You need to work on your pronunciation. I understand that you're from Benue State, where we have issues with R and L and some other words like that. But like I said at the beginning of the class, you need to, watch and be careful when you are pronouncing those words. Like you telling me rural area, the examiner may not understand it. I do understand that you're talking about rural area. The examiner may not be from Nigeria or may not know all of that. And at the end, they will score you low, okay? You are talking about tourism. Please explain what you are, the context, okay? Just answer the question, the area where you have been asked. Don't go beyond or outside what you have asked. Please be more expressive as well, okay? Be very, very much expressive. Who is Toyin? Toyin, please come back with your video. Christiana Alatayo, please come back with your video. I'll take you out of the class. The class is almost ended now, though. So with this, I hope I have been able to correct your work. I've been able to say something about what you have done. Any question? The floor is open. Unmute and ask your question. No. Unmute and ask your question. There's no question. Tony, what is your question?
Good morning. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Please, I would like to ask that for every question that is asked in speaking, is there a particular minute that we must take to answer it, no matter how short or what is
the examiner? You don't get to know. That is because each part, as I explained from the beginning, is timed, okay? Your first session is about 4 to 5 minutes. Second session is about 3 to 4 minutes. And the third session is about 4 to 5 minutes as well. So what happens is from the minute you came in and you start introducing yourself, the examiner asks for your identification and all of that, plus the time they're asking you about yourself, if they're asking you about your food or your hometown or anything, before the time that they give you your cue card, that is all going to be in that 4 to 5 minutes. So the examiner determines how many minutes you have spoken on a particular thing and when to ask you the next question. That's the reason why you need to keep speaking when they have not asked you any other question. And when they ask you another question, you stop talking and you answer the next one that you have been asked. Because if you don't stop talking and you keep talking, at the end of the day, you have only succeeded in answering that one question. The other questions there, you have not been able to attempt them, which will reduce your marks at the end of the day. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Yep. Any other question? Yes, please. Peace.
Yes. In the speaking part 1, a maximum of how many questions can they ask us?
4, maybe 5. It depends. If they are like, what is your name? It's only your name you will say now, Abby?
Yes.
Yeah. So it depends on the time that is expected for you to explain or answer that question. For instance, they ask you about your hometown, and the examiner says, can you tell me about your hometown? And you start talking. My hometown, I'm from Iyale in the Kina local government area of Kogi State. It is located on the eastern part of Kogi State and about 15 minutes drive from the main town. My people are predominantly farmers and my family house is located at the hillside. My area is majorly in the valley. Most of the buildings are in the valley, and so we are always affected by flood when the rainy season starts. As I'm talking, if my examiner stops me, I stop. Now, I have answered the name of my village. I've said how many minutes it is from the main town. I've said something about my people. I'm talking about my hometown generally. So when she feels satisfied or when my time is gone, she stops me and asks me another question. Don't say, tell me about your hometown. I'm from Iyale in the Kina local government of Kogi State. And your time is going. And the examiner is waiting for more points. So you are telling them about your hometown. Please just keep talking until they stop you. Do you understand?
Yes.
If they ask you about your family, tell me about your family. You will start. And my family is a nuclear one, just made up of me, my siblings. We are 4 children and my parents. And my siblings are all males, and I happen to be the only girl. I'm very loved by my parents. My mom is a farmer. My dad is a businessman. My 3 elder brothers are all graduates, and they have all relocated to the city centers where they work presently. We live in a very small house that is moderate enough for a family of my family, that is, I mean, our family size. We stay in 2-bedroom flat, and the examiner stops you. Please stop. If your family is extended, talk about it. They're asking you, do you spend time with your family? Yes, I spend time with my family. You keep quiet. No. If they have not stopped you, yes, I do spend some time with my family, though not on a daily basis. But when we do get some time to be together, I take the children out to have a drink. Sometimes we go shopping. Sometimes we go to watch a movie together. And at other times, we play games at home. My compound is a very large one where we are able to like mix up with some other family members, except for the COVID that people are now isolating. But with the members of my immediate family, and you are talking, you are going on, and the examiner stops you, then stop. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you. Any
Thank
other
you, ma'am.
question? No. Who else has a question? In the absence of any other question, you have come to the end of the speaking class today. We talked about speaking generally, and a few of you got their opportunity to talk. Speaking is when you have the face-to-face discussion with your examiner. It's more or less like a dialogue. The examiner gets to ask you questions and you answer them. You need to be very bold, you need to be very fluent, you need to have all of your band descriptors at your fingertips. You should avoid grammatical error as much as possible. Your sentence formation, please put it into consideration. Okay, as much as possible, get words that are related to the speaking topics that have been outlined to you, so that you can go ahead and answer with very rich vocabularies, and your teacher or your examiner knows that you know what you're doing. Is that okay? Speaking is generally divided into 3 parts. We have the first part, which happens to be the introduction and interview. Here in this session, your examiner asks you about your identity. They confirm your identity, ask you a few questions about yourself, probably about what you love, what you do. They can ask if you're a student, then what you do as a student, the course you're studying, and why you chose that course. They can ask about your hometown. You need to tell them about your hometown or your people or the village where you've come from, the kind of food that is, like relatively common to your people. In section 2, it happens to be within 3 to 4 minutes, and it is called the individual long run, where you are given a cue card. You're given a cue card with some bullet points for you to explain or to talk about. Please, from time to time, take a look at those bullet points so that you can explain them in details, ensuring that you have not missed out any point from there. Then the part 3 is where your examiner invites you to have like a discussion. Now, you need to know that the examiner is not going to stop and say, now you are in part 2. Okay, now you are in part 3. No, they will just continue, okay? But in between, she stops your clock, because it is when you are talking or answering her that your time is reading. Do you understand? Like when she's asking you a question, the time will start reading. Like when you people are discussing and she thinks that it's not part of your question because she may be asked, you people are just gisting, you're talking like a football analysis, like I tried to explain last week. So the examiner determines when you are to move to the next one. When you have not been asked any other question, the question that you have been asked previously, please continue to talk about it, because probably she wants you to talk more, or he wants you to talk more, or to give out more points. Do you understand? At the end of your speaking test, you will be told that you have come to the end of your speaking test. People hardly fail speaking. You just need to be bold. It's okay for you to be anxious a little bit, but as you begin to speak and go into, deep into the speaking test itself, your anxiety should be resolved. Okay? Now we have come to the end of this class. My name is Joy Agagwu. We have our next class by Saturday. Same time, I will see you when you come online. Bye-bye. Have a great evening. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you, Ma.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
ma.